All right, welcome everybody to the contributors meeting. I'm gonna be your host today. I'm Leo, and let's start my sharing my screen. This one, and hopefully everybody can see my browser. And let me open the chat here. The other corner. Okay, sounds good. All right, so let's get started. And as usual, triage and discussions. So last week we had QCon. A few folks were out. I think the meeting was canceled last week, so not sure if those names are still the ones. So Dan, I have you as one of the members doing triage last week or the week before. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
week before.
Okay. Do you have anything to add?
No, what I was thinking about a lot this past review was just that we have a lot of proposals out and kind of floating around, and so that's something I'd like to spend some more time on getting organized and kind of starting to block out where some of those things might fit on a feature roadmap. But I didn't see anything any big red flags or anything like that, just the normal kind of stuff.
Cool. Thank you, Dan. Yeah, Ishita is not in the call.
I'm there here. Yeah,
Oh, you're
yeah. So same here. There's nothing new. I agree with Dan that there are too many proposals upstream. I think they're pending since like a year. So I think we just need to prioritize, or previously how we used to have it in the roadmap. I think we should start doing something like that for the proposals. Also, we have a lot of UI PRs. I just think we just need help from UI folks to get that done too. Yeah.
okay. Thank you. All right, so let's decide who's gonna be doing the triage discussion for next week. Any volunteers, ideally from this list, if somebody is in the call?
I'm on the top list, but I can do it. This is Jonathan.
All right, thank you, Jonathan. Anyone else as a secondary for next week? We can do that together, Jonathan, so I can be there as well. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's go with the topics for today. So the first one from Michael, AppSets UI and maintenance. Michael.
Yeah, let's see. I may pass this one off to Regina, but I can give it a quick overview. Basically, Regina's put a lot of work into building out a nice app sets UI, and Keith has really been helping figure out like the details of how the React code should be written. It's a big change, and it is going to introduce a new code that will require maintenance. There will be bugs. It does increase the cognitive load of understanding the front end code base. So kind of the question to the room is, how do we feel about our current sort of UI maintenance capacity, and whether we think it's wise to bring in such a big feature right now? I really have no sense one way or the other necessarily. Just want to take the temperature of the room as we get closer to merging the feature. And Regina, if you want to add any color to that, feel free.
No, not at the moment. I think you covered it.
Thank you. Yeah, I would really need someone who has the lead of UI development in the project to step in here, probably Remington or someone else that has more, knowledge on the UI part of things.
Thing there right now is that it and broadcast
I think Isaac just joined and accidentally was off mute.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
You're good. Let's see. Oh, we've got Keith here now. I don't know, Keith, if you want to describe what you think.
Um, since I'm helping out Regina, I would rather have somebody else to review it. I'd rather not make the decision on my own, since I guess I'm kind of a little bit biased about the changes. So I want another set of eyes to look at it.
But regarding to Michael's questions, Keith, not related to the PR review, but the amount of complexity that that PR would
Yeah.
introduce in the project, do you have an opinion on that?
Yeah, it's a big change. I don't see any way we could stage it in. Yeah, yeah, that's all I can say about that. But yeah, hopefully maybe Remington can have the time to or spare cycles to review it.
Okay, so the way I see it is, I haven't seen the PR, but everyone is saying it's a big feature, and most likely bugs will be there, which is expected and fine. I guess my question is, Regina, I think it was you who implemented it, the PR. You were the main maintainer. Sorry, the main developer behind that feature. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And if bugs happen after the release, would you be available to help on addressing those issues, or you think you were mainly helping it at first, but not sure if you're gonna have time to help on bugs?
Yeah. So I think that I will have some availability for that, but currently I'm doing it on my free time. For like I think that probably 95 of the development was on my free time, and it was not part of my day-to-day job.
Okay.
And so I could basically like take it in the pace that this free time allowed. So I definitely will be partially available for that, but I must be honest and say that I cannot commit to like short SLAs or something if problems arise, despite my my definite will to do that.
Sure. Mhm.
Just one thing, would we have like a feature flag for this as we do it for other features? Like, would it be like in a beta state?
So the question is, does the PR currently has a feature flag to totally enable or disable the feature?
Not at this point.
I don't think I
good
would
idea.
ship this with a feature flag because it's sort of opt in by nature. You can either use the UI or not. So if people encounter bugs, they can just, go back to using the CLI or whatever they used before.
Right, but it's going to be a new item in the menu or something?
Correct.
Yes.
I think it would be a good time to merge it because we released not long ago, so there's still gonna be some time, like in master till the next release to test it out. And either if we are not merging it, like there's no alternative, there's just no support. So at some point we need to progress on the app set UI one way or the other, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm not opposed either. But I agree with Kate that I think we should have at least the agreement of one more maintainer of this part of the project, right? The UI part of things. Okay, let me try to reach out to Remington and Mike, let me know if you have a suggestion of someone else that could maybe take a final look on this PR and a final say before we merge it.
Yeah, that's the only other question I had is if anyone is aware of another sort of UI dev who's familiar with Argo CD besides Keith and Remington. I know folks have done sort of spot features, but I think that's where most of the in-depth knowledge is. If you know of someone else who is there, is kind of moving that direction, let me know, because I'd want to help, bring another UI expert up and get them the access they need ASAP. So yeah, just let me know if you know of that person.
Cool.
I just want to add that most of the functionality, at least the one that like I have outlined that can go first, is already working, but there are some things that need to be polished out about the design of this. So I think that there is still work that is needed on on improving the design, and there is another there is another problem that that is there that still needs to be fixed, and I hope that next week when I will be meeting with Keith, those two issues can advance. So I think maybe this is a question on whether it's a good time for additional reviews to happen now, or to wait for the results of that. It's an open question. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't personally have a say on that. And just to clarify, when you say design, you mean the look and feel, but or the code design, Regina?
No, I'm talking about the code design.
the
About
code
about the look and feel. Currently, it is under the settings menu. It's an item in the settings menu,
Mhm.
as per Alexander M's request at one of the previous meetings. So that it's like kind of available for admins at the first phase. So this is the reason why it is located under the settings menu. It can be easily moved to the main menu as well, if needed.
Right. Okay, so anything else related to this topic? I'll try to reach Remington and get his eyes on this. Okay, so thanks everyone. Moving forward to the next topic is it from Blake?
Yes, this is just more of, I added an issue in Argo Labs so that this would be the first step to migrate the Argo CD Terraform provider to CNCF. And I don't know who are the ones who can actually give access or approve in Argo Labs for this to happen.
So technically, Argo Project Labs is not CNCF, technically.
Okay.
Well, so it's not a CNCF donation per se to put it into labs, but that's not. I mean, that just means you have more flexibility with how you operate it and stuff in the meantime.
Then
And
the question.
in the last meeting, that was the same discussion if Argo Labs was CNCF or not, and the decision out of that meeting was it's CNCF. So you as a project need to decide. You cannot contradict yourself every other week.
Sorry, there was a meeting previously last week.
No, that was in the last maintainers meeting, Dan. Not sure if you were there, but that question came up, and Ed suggested that it is part of the CNCF. I wasn't under a different impression. I was under the impression that it doesn't. Even if you see the dev stats, those are not looking at the Argo Proj Labs. They only look at the Argo Proj org. So I can double check that with Ed to make sure that message was correct. But well, I mean, the thing about contradicting ourselves, I mean, everybody can make mistakes, right? Carlos, so not a big deal here.
Well, I don't think it actually affects bringing this proposal, like bringing Terraform provider in anyway. But like when we for example went through this discussion during graduation and stuff, at the time as a project we felt like it technically wasn't CNCF. So maybe that sentiment has changed, but I mean, that's like when it was created, it was explicitly put outside of the org so that it was not part of the normal process of review and what we had to go through to do like all of the audits and things like that. That's kind of the reason why we didn't at the time merit it as being part of the CNCF. But again, I actually don't think it's really important for this particular project. I think this project, slam dunk, no question. Hey, the Argo Project Labs fits right in. I don't see any reason why we wouldn't just go create the repo and get it going right now.
Yeah, so who decides if this org, GitHub org is not part of the CNCF project, Argo project, so who's the owner, and then they decide and it's added, right? Like that's what I was asking for, like in the last meeting, clarification, like reading a couple of sentences somewhere that says like who owns this GitHub org and what does it mean adding something in here? And like if I want to add a project, like who
the
decides?
org
That's the
is
keys.
owned by the Argo project. And from a permission standpoint, like basically any of the maintainers with right permissions should be able to create it. So Michael Crenshaw, Jesse, Alexander, Leo, I think Pasha, any of those people should be able to create new repos in there.
Okay. Yeah, we can table the discussion, but yeah, it's this org is this GitHub org is owned by the Argo project, but it's not part of the CNCF, which Argo project is a CNCF project. That's the confusion. I mean, I'm not playing dumbass, right? Like or smartass, right? But that's the curve. Like you just told me, like it's
indirectly people assume it is because of that like transitive thing. So it is confusing for sure.
Yeah, no, I get that.
It's a legal entity. It's just a legal entity.
I actually don't think it matters. Like,
no,
it doesn't
for this
really
one,
matter for this proposal.
It's more a future. It's a future thinking of myself, like trying to help in the project, like becoming like things going into Argo projects. They're CNCF, different level of maturity. They can be there. They don't have to move to core. Some things might move to core and such, right? So people, it's clear. It's just transparency. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah. If it's, yeah, well, we can let's open a separate discussion on that.
Yeah. But this one, I'm plus one because I want to use this Terraform provider and because it was not like maintained by the community, and I also want to contribute to maintain it. Yeah. I'm plus one.
I think we have enough like positive thumbs up for this, so we just need somebody to volunteer to like go create the repo and set up the permissions in it.
Who might that person be? Or who's in this meeting that has these permissions?
I believe Leo, Michael.
Yeah, I can work together with you, Blake, on that. Ping me on CNCF. I can see if I have all the permissions. I think I do, but if not, we will find who has. All right, thank you, Blake. Thanks everyone for the discussion. Let's move on. We have another few topics here. So respect, ignore difference v2, server-side apply. Blake, you again?
Yes.
Go for it.
This one is so basically respect and ignore differences doesn't work really with arrays at this time, and I spent a bunch of time in the past like trying to do this client side, and I guess it came to the same thing as the managed namespace and metadata. It just becomes a real pain to work for this client side. And I was basically playing around them, thinking maybe it makes sense to kind of define a V2 of ignore differences in terms of server-side apply. And that would be basically like, if you have in application, if you have ignore differences, then it would be implemented in terms of a separate field manager. And then, so if you see I did some experimentation with the kubectl, which basically is like, you take, you apply the initial thing server side, and then for the fields that you want to ignore, you server side apply with a separate field manager. And basically, like, I mean, there would need to be some work done to kind of make sure this would work smoothly. And before I spend the time making a proposal, does this sound sensible to, especially to you, Leo, since you're the server side apply expert in this?
Yeah, the respect ignore difference was implemented in a way that it would mimic what the ignore difference has currently configured. So if you have JSON path, that will be applied during the sync stage. And if you have ignore managed in the ignore difference section in the configuration, you have ignore by manager. And if you do that, the way the logic works during sync is applying that same logic based on managers, not on JSON path, like the other ignore difference. So my take is this is probably already being applied in the logic. So I'm not sure what exactly are you suggesting, Blake, to use server-side apply?
Well, my suggestion is that some way for basically ignore differences to be, I mean, if it's a matter of documentation using server-side apply, then I guess that should be somehow brought forward in documentation because this has been an ongoing issue with many people with ignore differences. I mean, if this is something which already exists with server-side apply, then maybe this is then the recommendation might be to just let people use server-side apply and not to try to use client-side apply with respect to ignore differences. True. If that doesn't, if there's something which doesn't exist, or if this is something which does not exist, then something to kind of complement the existing server-side apply to basically enable this use case. But if this is the case that we can already somehow use server-side apply with separate field managers and it's ignored, then we can just, I guess, point people to do that.
Yeah, I think it requires some additional tests. I see that you added something here, so I would need to have a better read on your tests here, Blake. Again, I guess let's discuss this offline. I can work with you on that. I think I understand what you're saying. Maybe it makes sense. But yeah, let's have a chat and see how we can go from there.
Great, thanks.
Cool. Thank you, Blake. Next one, Regina and Pasha, Codium AI demo. Oh, nice. We have a demo today. Is that right?
Yes.
Cool. Go for it, Regina.
All right. So I'll be sharing my screen in a second. So the goal is to try and address the pain point of PR reviews by maintainers. Me and Pasha work together on researching AI bots that can help review, summarize, and suggest improvements for PRs. We have examined 2 products, and we will show you a demo with Codium AI, which we found to be the best among the 2. I am sharing my screen. Okay. So So basically, the main features of this PR agent are the ability to describe, review a PR, to suggest improvements, to have an option to ask further questions, which are then passed to the OpenAI, finding similar issues, and other options. I want to show you how I used this in my repo. In my repo, which is a fork of Argo CD. So basically, this is some pull request that I have. It's a pretty silly pull request. It just has one line commented out. I think it should be enough to demonstrate what this tool has to offer. So basically, I have invoked the agent by mentioning the CodeUMAI agent and having a /review. It then responds by putting the eyes emoji. And then it generates a new comment on the same pull request. And basically, it does a review. So you can see that it shows the estimated effort to review. This one was an easy one because it's just commenting out a line of the code, no relevant tests. And it addresses possible issues that might be, like reduced functionality and stuff like that. It didn't find any security concerns. And it provides some feedback about the code and points to the relevant line. Then I used the option of the improve, which basically is offering ways to improve that code. And again, this is not a very sophisticated code, but basically it suggests adding a comment for clearness. And another option of interacting with the bot is by using the analyze option. And this is what we see as an output. It lists the components that were changed. And then there is like additional option to interact with the bot by asking it to write tests or writing it or asking it to provide some documentation or finding similar issues. So I have chosen a couple of options here. And then after, like as a response to what I have chosen, another comment got created and it has the tests that the bot suggests. Some tests here. And then it generates a doc string, again, as per my request up there. So it generates some doc string that can be copied into the code if applicable. And I also has asked for an option to search for similar code. And so there are like two options here, whether it's global or organization. So global was the default one. So it found also the similar code both in Argo CD and in other repos. So basically, this is like some of the functionality that this bot has to offer. And so there are three ways of working with this agent. One way, which is basically truly zero configuration, was invoking it by mentioning this agent. I didn't have to configure anything on my repo for that. Surprisingly, I didn't have to give it any permissions on my repo, but it still generated the comments with the response on the pull request. So this is one option. As per the documentation, this option is using GPT-4, which is nice. I feel that this option is like more for playing with this and trying this, evaluating the value of the product. And I've reached to support of CodeUMAI to understand what are the limitations of this option, and I'm waiting for an answer. So like this is first option, and Pasha has actually already used it on some random PR on Argo CD repo. So this is Argo CD repo. And he has performed basically the same command here. Again, 0 configuration on the GitHub repo side, and you can see a similar output generated. The second option is running what is called Agent Pro. This is a hosted solution that is running on the Codium AI platform. It costs $19 per month per user. So part of the functionality that I have just shown you is free, and part of it is working because I have there is like a 14 days trial. So there is extended functionality to this agent, and it can run hosted on their platform. This method requires setting up and configuring a GitHub application on the repo. I can show you how it looks like on my repo, because I also tried this path. So this is the application on my fork. It's called Codium PR Agent Pro. And okay, never mind right now. But basically, it requires some permissions on the repo. This is the second option that is with a paid license. I also wrote them asking whether we can receive some discount or something, because we're a CNCF open source project, waiting for answer to that. And the third option is to run like a self-hosted agent, which basically requires more configuration, because it requires taking care of the runtime. The runtime can be either a Lambda function or some other runtime that we provide, or it can also run as a step in a GitHub Actions. And it also might involve building a custom Docker image for that. So I think that if this product looks like something that can bring value, I would suggest checking the hosted version, and not putting the time into like configuring and maintaining what is around the integration with that. And so the agent itself is open sourced. There is a GitHub repo with the code of this agent. Their platform obviously is not. It's a product, closed product. So if someone wants to try it, then this can be invoked on basically any pull request with this mentioned section. Then maybe you can see if this has some value. Pasha, do you have anything to add?
No, you did great demo. So you covered everything.
Okay, great.
Is there a possibility to execute this automatically on every PR, or someone needs to go in and add the comment to trigger the process?
No, it's possible. It's possible if the agent is run as a GitHub action, as a step in a GitHub action. This can be configurable. This means the self-hosted version. I will reach out to support and to ask whether the other two options have this configuration. I believe so. It makes sense, but I will double check.
Did I understand correctly that anyone can invoke this bot on the Argo CD repo right now to test?
Yes.
Or is that just Pasha?
Yes. Currently, anyone can do that because it didn't require any authentication, any installation of any GitHub app, nothing.
Nice.
Yeah, but it's only free. No, it's more than enough, actually. I think for us, for most important use cases, it's more than enough.
What is the limitation of the free model they have?
Let me open it and I will show you.
I thought you have to pay for the model, no? GPT-4 OpenAI key?
No, they host it.
Ah.
They host it for you. We also was wondering with Regina, like it's like gift. They pay for token for you. So we wonder like if they will change the business model. That's why we reach out them and double check if they're going to change it or what is limitations here.
So what is marked with this diamond is basically what the paid version is given. And what is not is what the free version is giving. So there are a couple of things here like SOC compliance and inline summaries. I also remember that like in yeah, the documentation is also something that is the paid version.
Yeah, but most important, like find similar issues, review, describe, inspect, whatever. It's most important for our use case during reviews. They all free.
Yes.
Okay, and so I never used this. So Pasha and Regina, from the quality of the message provided back from the bot, how do you feel like that being useful for Argo CD review process, for example?
I found a bug yesterday in Cottage Pro with this bot that I didn't notice. It was typo, copy paste typo in message in chat in text that it's very hard to notice manually if you don't have a lot of eyes on it.
And is this something that a linter shouldn't wouldn't catch?
No, it was just like constant, like just string constant that put wrong value, something like this. I mean, it's not bug in the code itself. It's not linting issue. It's just business logic issue. But both said like, oh, maybe you're wrong here because I can see two constants with the same value. Check this. It was actually matrix and name parameter, if to be correct. When you describe matrix, you put names. Both say like, oh, you have two net matrix with same name. I believe here is a bug. So it was just assumption. What I would say, it will not catch business logic. For example, it will not say to you that, oh, you probably did mistake in server-side apply logic. It's in complex stuff, but it's very nice for catch human like mistakes and some stupid bugs. If, for example, if null check didn't add whatever, I mean like something like this, possible null check mistake and so on. It's really nice for such things.
Cool.
Like it's linter, but more complicated something, I would say.
Right. Any idea of what would be the next step? So what was the main motivation for doing this work, is to add this as officially integrated in Argo CD repo, other Argo proj repos. So I think I missed the main motivation about the task.
So my motivation was to see whether it can like make the lives of maintainers easier.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, save time on reviewing PRs. And I think that it needs. I mean, I think that probably the inputs of the maintainers, yeah, it would be like what sets whether it's good or not, and whether it's helpful. And if it is helpful and it brings value, then maybe it would be nice to have it in the repository.
Yeah, I would propose, that's exactly totally right what Ina said, but we saw that it's only possible to install and use it only with installation process, only as GitHub app. But actually, once we discover that it's publicly available without any installation, probably it's worth to do some POC things before we integrate it and, for example, guys who is reviewing the code, try to use it as much as you can during your pull request review. And let's meet in Regina. Let's bring it in 1 month again and see if you want to automate all the pull requests in our Argo CD. That would be my assumption. I would not do it right now. I just would run some POC stage and see if it's helpful.
Yes, exactly.
That makes sense. Cool. Any more questions for this topic? And thanks for the demo, Regina. All right,
Yeah, very cool
so
demo.
yeah, cool stuff. Let me get back on the screen sharing. I think we have one more. Oh, it's from you, Pasha.
Yeah. I think I already asked Jan about it, but I wanted to ask in bigger forum a bit. I saw in Slack channel and also we in CodeWorks was asked by this question. Image updater has a lot of pull requests that has a lot of code changes that wasn't released for 1 year. And people is asking if this project still in maintenance mode. At least here a lot of nice features, and people just asking to create a release for it, so they will be able to install it and to use it and so on. So the question, if we have someone who is maintaining it or can create release whatever for this repo.
I think we've got kind of short, medium, and long term for image updater. I think short term, we need to find someone who has access to cut a release because people are running like the master image manually. And I don't see any reason not to just cut a release. Medium term, we need to talk about the proposal to get it integrated into Argo CD as a first class feature. I want to look at that proposal again in light of the manifest hydration work, like rendered manifest pattern work that Zach and I have been doing, and see if we can share code there, because both of those components will need the ability to push to Git. And then finally, long term, I think it does need to be integrated as a first class feature and maintained by the Argo CD maintainers. So for short term, I don't know who can cut a release. So if anyone does know that, that would be helpful info.
Okay, so if I am volunteering on it, can I get access to it and some instruction how to cut the release? Like,
yeah, I would.
Or maybe someone else who can or want to do it.
I'm in favor of you having access. I don't know who has access in that repo.
Jan, I believe. I can try to contact.
Oh yeah, I would just go through him.
Okay, anything else, Pasha, on that one? I think, yeah, you're gonna reach out to Jan to sort that out.
Michael, I think Michael will do, because I tried. Jan just said that it's not under maintenance. He's thinking. So I'm not sure what is next step. Ideally, we probably need to merge it to Argo CD. But for now.
Well, maybe one way to put it is say, hey, Jan, this has been under Red Hat, but CodeFresh wants to take it under our wing for a little while.
I'm not sure that CodeFresh wants. Just ask for release.
That is fair. Well, I mean, even someone cutting releases and maybe merging a PR every 2 months, that it wouldn't take much to be way better than what we have now. So yeah, you probably phrase it as we'll do CPR on the project for a little while.
Yeah, I would suggest reach out to Jan. I think that certainly this project is still going, and I think they were pending to make some of this in the library, so that I think another project can share. And you should definitely reach out to Jan, and I mean, you know, he probably can work with you to make kind of a release or whatever you need to do.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Acuity wants to pull out some code into a shared library between Cargo and Image Updater. I would want them to really clarify the concrete steps of what that's going to look like, because even abstracting that is upfront work. But it's possible that they're willing to do that upfront work and then also like help maintain image updater. So I would also check with the cargo Acuity folks.
Yeah, so that's kind of the thing that is we're waiting, and maybe it's already been done. Before there's a plan to move it into Argo CD core. So I think that's what kind of thing that we're waiting for to happen before we do that. But if you are interested in cutting a release, and then you certainly can chat with Jan and see maybe he can give you access, or however you guys work it out.
Sounds good to me. Anything else related to this topic?
No.
All right. Thanks, everyone. We're on time. Thanks, everyone, for your contributions. See you next week, and bye.
Thanks. Bye.